Hello and welcome to the short Vort on Parshas Toldos. In this week's Parsha, in Perek Chav Ches, Pasuk Yud Gimel, Hashem appears to Yaakov Aveinu while Yaakov is dreaming, and Hashem introduces himself and says, I am the God of your father Avraham, as well as the God of Yitzchak. Now Rashi tells us through Medrash Tanchuma that Hashem normally does not associate his name with someone who is alive, even a tzaddik. However, in this case, because Yitzchak Aveinu was already weakened in his eyes, basically he was blind, and he was homebound, he was imprisoned in his home, therefore it was like he was already dead, and that the Yetzer Hara was removed from him and he would not sin, because the fear, of course, would be that if Hashem associates his name with someone who's alive, and then that person sins and dies a rasha, then it would be embarrassment, a chilul to Hashem's name. So Yehuda Leib Chasman, 1869 to 1935, the Mashgiach in Telz. So he says that it teaches us an important lesson. One in part of it is that you have to be very careful of what you see, and as well as also you have to be very careful when you go out into the street and mix with other people who are not on the proper level. And the fact is that Yitzchak, who was an Ola Tamima, he was a perfect korban, who was brought to be sacrificed and who was willing to put himself at the Akedah to be slaughtered. So he still was not trustworthy until he was no longer at risk of sinning. They say about the Vilna Gaon that when he would go out to the marketplace, which was rare, that he would learn 13 times the Perek of Mesilas Yesharim, the great Musar Sefer, regarding Zahirus wariness, so that he'd be able to resist any temptation that was out there. Finally, there's a story with R Elya Lapian, the great Musar leader and mashgiach, who lived from 1876 to 1970. And one time there was a Talmud who wanted permission to leave the yeshiva to go to a wedding, and Reb Lapian asked him, so will there be any preachers there? Will there be any immodesty? And the student wasn't going to lie, but so he hemmed and he hawed, and he said, oh, my family is going to be on its own table, so there's nothing to worry about. Reb Elya Lapian responded to him. He said, I'm over 80 years old. I'm blind in one eye. And I'm concerned that when I go on the street, I'm going to gaze at something improperly. You're a young man. You're in your full koach. You're able to see. So much so, you have to be careful. So there we see it, the importance of being careful about what your eye sees and how we intermingle with other people. These are risks. Therefore, quarantine actually has a spiritual benefit, because if you're quarantined, you're not going to see improper things or mingle with improper people. Thank you for listening, and have a wonderful week and a wonderful Shabbos.